Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Um, this video is a follow-up to the last video I did, which was called the womb imprint. And just a quick recap, in that video I talked about how women are imprinted by the first 2 or 3 men they have sex with and how that determines their future relationships and the type of men that will arouse them, the type of men that they will go for. And it actually went on to explain how it causes a lot of trouble in women's relationships. Now, not to be outdone, men get imprinted too. Oh yeah, men get imprinted too. And whereas the woman has a master feminine faculty, the man or the young boy has a master masculine faculty. You know, this is what brings on puberty. Now, when this comes online, it looks to identify the alpha females in the environment. Now, let me be clear about that whole alpha female thing. A lot of women who, they follow the alpha male concept, they'll say, well, I'm an alpha female. And that usually in their mind, really, if you really look at it, what they're really describing is a man in drag. You get some women think they have some masculine, they got some masculine traits and energy, they take charge and they think they're alpha. Actually, those women are probably gamma. They're not the highest level of women. The alpha female is the most physically attractive and feminine women in the environment. Let me say that again. The alpha females are the most physically attractive and feminine women in the environment. When the young boy goes into puberty, he is he's attracted to the most attractive females, period. That's normal. He wants to become imprinted by the most dominant female. Now, here's the difference. Sex is a part of a man's imprint, but he doesn't have to have sex 3 times or with 3 different women. He's imprinted by one woman. Now, here's the deep thing. That's actually, the actual act of sex is actually a secondary thing. See, there's a statement I like to make, and I made it on a few videos, and it's interesting. Nobody's really questioning me on it. But my statement is, a man makes love to a woman's body, but a woman makes love to a man's mind. And I'll get a little bit into that later. But the boy's imprint is determined by the rejection or acceptance of the alpha females. Let me say that again. His imprint is determined by the rejection or acceptance of the alpha females. The first thing that has to happen is he's either rejected by the alpha females or he's accepted. Now, that acceptance doesn't involve sex. It just acknowledges really just being acknowledged by these women. One thing in high school with young people, it's a big deal for some boy to be acknowledged by like the head cheerleader or the homecoming queen or the prettiest girl, just for her to just say hi to him. Yeah, that's a big deal. Just to know that the finest women or finest girls in the school notice you. That's where confidence comes from. Confident that, beautiful women want you. So, that young boy, he's imprinted by that he is accepted by the dominant females. It could be the cheerleading squad. And I don't mean accepted in a friend zone type of way, but accepted in a way where they see him as an alpha male. They're friendly to him. They're giving him hugs. They're acknowledging him. May even date. I mean, contrary to popular belief, this dude might even go out with. They have one of those little quick high school relationships that lasts about a month or so. He might get his feelings hurt at the end, but you know what? He went out with this bad girl for like a month or so. He's the man. He's feeling good. He's looking good in the eyes of his peers. That creates a confidence in him. That actually does something to his mental state. See, one thing with men one thing with men, and I'm gonna get into this a little bit more, but I'm gonna just state briefly. We don't have a womb, a physical womb, but we actually do have a womb. But our womb is in our mind. See, we create with our minds. That's part of why I say a woman makes love to a man's mind. She can plant a seed in there, and that seed will come out with something. If you look at what men create, we don't create babies, but we create buildings, we create architecture, we create political systems, we create religions, we create philosophies, we create art, we create music. That's why a lot of creative types, they'll say they have a muse. Some that just, some woman that keeps them opened up, keeps them going. And there's a little trick to what they're doing I'm going to get into in a bit. But that's the first part of the imprint for the boy. Acceptance or rejection by the alpha females. Then the second part is actually having sex with a young girl. Now, here's the trick. If he can have sex with that same alpha female, oh man, that's the bomb. That's the ultimate. That dude gonna grow up like super cocky. You might have to like his head to be so big and stuff. You might have to tie him down just to get him into buildings and whatnot. But he's gonna be confident. He ain't gonna be scared of talking to any women or anybody. Cause he done not only accepted by an alpha female, but had sex with her. But in most cases, a boy might be accepted by the alpha female, but then have sex with somebody totally different. It might not be somebody, she might look decent or, but maybe not on that same level. That imprints him further. Now, the nature of the imprint is subconsciously, his subconscious is going to start making changes. It's going to start changing him in such a way so he can keep attracting that acceptance, that he can keep attracting that type of female he has sex with, because his imprint becomes a composite of that alpha female and the first sexual conquest. So that's that dynamic going on. And of course, just like with even before he reaches puberty, there's still that dynamic of one his opposite sex parents, somebody like his mother. Now, that's a perfect situation. Some little boy, young boy, he got that fine ass, alpha females having sex with him. I mean, imagine what goes through the head of some of these young boys having sex with teachers, like sexy teachers at that. It's like, damn. It's going to do something. I mean, years later, they might have some issues because they look back and say, oh, hold up, I was used or something. But then, shoot, they cocky as hell, telling all their friends and whatnot. They loving it. But here's the thing. And let's just be real. Remember, I said the imprint is determined by the rejection or acceptance of the alpha females. In most cases, the alpha female is going to reject the boy. Unless he's like unless he's among the select group of boys in high school, he's going to reject him. Now, you know what? I ain't even have any background, like some little background noise, buzz and whatnot. Sorry, y'all. I don't be thinking about it sometimes. Sometimes I just jump into it. I like jazz. Yeah, y'all probably figured that out about me. Anyway, let me keep going. The average boy is going to be rejected by the alpha females. Because if you think about it, probably the most arrogant creatures on the damn planet is a very beautiful teenage girl in high school. Let me say that again. I mean, the arrogant, think about it. She got everybody. Yeah, I'm going to put that DC slang in there. She got everybody trying to get at her. She got young boys, she got old men. She probably got some uncles and older cousins she got to dodge at family reunions. Very few young girls are going to keep a humble attitude with all of that. In fact, a whole lot of them become arrogant. So what happens with that arrogance, they feel like, hey, they should only be approached and talked to the top boys. So when they're approached in by anything less than one of the top boys, they take a very mean demeanor. And a lot of men who remember the encounter with that pretty girl in high school, they can attest to this. They get rejected, not just rejected, but harshly. It's like, who are you to come talk with? I mean, I've seen actual videos, people get out their smartphones and whatnot. People get out their smartphones and women be like, yeah, look at this dude. I remember one video, this young dude, couple young dudes were trying to talk to this one young lady. And I mean, she was just harsh, like clowning him and stuff. And, what the first, and think about that, that's an imprint. The imprint ain't automatically the acceptance. That's just like a woman's first sexual experience. The imprint ain't always positive. It might be positive for a few guys, but for most guys, that first imprint is a rejection. And a lot of times it's a harsh rejection. And then, but he's still on a subconscious level going to want that female. So he already has that thing going. And then, if he does manage to get a sexual conquest, it ain't like he's getting a fine woman. Now, let's just be real. A lot of guys, their first sexual conquest, it might be with a halfway decent looking woman, or a girl, but it might be the neighborhood, as they say in Baltimore, dummy, who's just having sex with everybody. It could be that person, or it could be that, that ugly kind of weird type of awkward girl. I mean, it's so, or that homely overweight chick. A lot of guys will have sex, just to have sex with somebody who's just receptive. Now, consciously, they might be like, oh, well, she's doing it and she'll be all right. Subconsciously, they probably hating themselves. It's like, damn, this is what I got to deal with. And a lot of guys had that. And then it could be another situation is when a lot of guys first first actual sex act is with like a call girl or a prostitute or something. And you might feel good with it, but subconsciously you gotta be thinking, damn, this is who I had sex with? I had to pay for this shit? So you get guys subconsciously getting aroused by the wrong women. Negative women. You got a lot of women out there who use guys. And, because of that rejection and how the guys respond to that rejection, that's how guys break into those 4 categories I like talking about. You might get, that's how they respond. Some guys might respond by trying to be her friend. That's where simping comes from. You got some guys respond by trying to be thirsty and just try to wear her down. Some guys figure, oh, I gotta be popular or have some status, so they'll work hard to get popular and status, and then, the Mr. Goodbar types, shit, well, they usually get accepted by the alpha female, so that might not be a good example to throw in here. So, but the main thing is, it affects a man. And, like I said, the actual act of sex is secondary. See, women don't understand something. Women don't understand the nature of the man's ego. And how that is the key to a man. And really the key to seducing a man. Like you see a lot, there's a lot of women, and of all races. Oh, I forgot to make my disclaimer. Everything I'm talking about applies to all groups. I gotta remember. I gotta make a note to do that at the beginning. So you got sorry for a second, someone distracted me. But you got a lot of men out here. They got that negative imprint, and it's in their head because that thing affects a man's psyche. Now, you got women out here. That's where I was. You got women who, they always complain they can't get men. They having trouble. They got all these degrees and this, that, and the third. They got money. They even got some degree of looks. They can't figure it out. The key to men. The key to men is that ego. Now there's a term. I don't hear it said as much. Stroking the ego. Think about what is stroking. When you hear the word stroking, first thing you thinking is sex. A woman can stroke that man's ego, and she can seduce him. Now, if she's like very attractive, it's easier. But if she has average looks, but she knows how to work a man's ego, she can get him eventually. She can be average looking, a little overweight, but she keeps stroking that ego right. Eventually, she gonna look real good too. She gonna look real good, because that's the real secret with the man. Believe it or not, and a lot of men don't even realize that. We think, yeah, we see a woman, we get a harder one or something, but that's just a natural thing. A woman really wants to get in with a man. She got to make love to that man's mind, and that's very important. It's very important how a woman deals with that man's ego, because, like I said, that negative imprint was brought on partly just by the rejection of a woman, a harsh rejection. This is why I tell women, if you gotta reject a man, do it in a kind way that leaves his ego intact. Don't break him down just because he had the nerve to actually think you were attractive. Shoot, be humble about that shit. But let him down. If you gotta tell him a white lie and say you have somebody, okay. Now, if he's gonna be one of those persistent dudes and he wanna get rude about it, yeah, okay, break his ass down then. But most guys are gonna be kind. Most guys are going to, be gentlemen, at least be a gentleman about it. But yeah, that imprint, it messes with a man. It messes with a man because it shapes his worldview. It shapes the type of women he go for, the type of women he settle for. That's why you get a lot of you can get a man. He seems like he got it going on, but he's dealing with some woman that is not his ideal. That's because his imprint says, hey, this is what you can get. And they'll settle for it. Because that's the experience. If a man's first experience is with some homely chick with a bad attitude, he's going to keep running into him. And he ain't going to figure out why. His subconscious is going to make it so that's who he attracts to. Yeah, that subconscious thing ain't just affecting women. That's affecting men too. His body language is going to be more confident, more direct, more attractive around that homely, any type of homely type of woman that resembles that imprint. And it's going to react a certain way when it comes across a woman that provided that negative imprint. It might say, hey, that beautiful woman is going to reject me. Let me get this other woman. Yeah, she mean. Yeah, she only want to have sex once a week. She ain't trying to cook for me or anything. She ain't trying to suck my dick, but she'll at least accept me. And it is all in the head. And, I don't want this to be as long as the last video. Women have to understand, this is why you get men, they can be in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they still remember that rejection from the 6th grade. When, they passed that note to Cecilia, saying, hey, will you be my girlfriend, or will you give me a chance? Yeah, y'all know I'm dating myself. The older folks know what I'm talking about, though. Yes or no before we had texting and all that. And, she passed it back and she like, no. And dude's still thinking about it. Because a rejection to men is shit. A woman reject a man, that shit traumatic. We try to be cool about it. We try to develop a thick skin. But I've yet to see a man who ain't thinking about some women who rejected him when he was young. I've yet to meet one. Now, some may not talk about it, but if you get any man nice and comfortable, other than Mr. Goodbar, you get most men nice and comfortable, they'll tell you about that rejection because that's their imprint. Most of them have that negative imprint. That shit did something to them. And I know a lot of women will say, well, he should just get over it. It's like, no. Do you just get over, your Uncle Larry molesting your ass? And I'm serious. I am serious. Y'all can flag this video or whatever for saying it, but it's just that serious to a man. Just like it's very serious, and I take issues like sexual molestation and all that extremely serious. For the man, it can be just as traumatic to be rejected. Because think about it, most men have a closeness to their mother. Most men, even if they had some issues, they still have a love for her, a deep love for her, right? The average man is still going to look for somebody just like his mother, right? Now, even that dominant alpha female, she's going to have some traits like that boy's mother. She's going to have something, maybe not even in physical, maybe sometimes in physical appearance. She's going to have something. And then that woman rejects him. I want you to think about that. And I say this is applied to all races, but I've done some videos talking about the rejection of good black men, and I want the sisters to think about what I'm about to say. How do y'all think a brother feels? Because I've heard a lot of sisters. Heard a lot of sisters talk about how they felt if they saw a black man with a white woman, and I've heard them say they would say the same. They felt rejected. Well, how the fuck y'all think a brother feels, a black man feels, when he approaches a woman or says hi to a black woman and she rejects him off some dumb shit and meanly? You realize if he's even approaching you, there's something about you that on a deep level reminds you of his mother. So your rejection of him is almost like his mother rejecting him. And that's why a lot of these brothers got a deep anger. I want y'all to think about that shit. Just think about that shit. Because, that's the deepest hurt. Your father could reject you, be like, well, whatever, motherfucker. But your mother? And, and then they, because of that imprint, that rejection keeps getting repeated. Nah, that's some deep ass shit. That's some traumatic ass shit. So, this is, they imprint, like I said, it's a different type of thing. And just like women who have negative imprints, that shit need to be dealt with. A lot of men need that shit too. And I know there's some people who, well, right now it's more of a subculture where they trying to directly address those issues. But, we got to deal with that whole imprint thing. So, anyway, I don't want to go into just a full-on rant. That's the info. For just like I challenged the women in my last video, I want to challenge the men. Think about that first little girl you had a real crush on, right? And then think about the first girl you had sex with. And, do a composite of their personalities to the best extent possible. Now if it's the same person, hey, boom, hey, hey, I'm raising my drink to you. Hold on. All right. So I'm raising my drink to you, but a lot of times it's not. So I want, the fellas to think about that too. This ain't just one-sided. Everybody's going through it. Everybody going through something. Even the Mr. Goodbar types are going through some shit. So, want to just thank everybody for listening, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.